this week. Beautiful Waldorf Astoria Resort in Orlando,
nice.
at Disney World.
It was great to be the host.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of fun. And everybody was very complimentary of Orlando. They don't spend a lot of time here. They asked me, I probably got asked at least, 16 times by each, 15 times by each AD, how far do you live from here? I said, well, it depends on traffic and all that stuff. Where's campus? Everybody asks. Because I think everybody thinks we live right in Disney's theme park. Everybody that works in Orlando lives right there. But no, it was good, and everybody's been really positive. And we had a big dinner last night. Invited some student athletes from around the conference, and it was great. And we had one of our poet laureate kind of integrate a poem last night with all his teams. He did a great job. We brought in this Disney Imagineer that kind of spoke, and it was good. Dr. Cartwright welcomed everybody, kind of put in a little plug for UCF in Orlando, and we're on our way. But we've been here for the last 2 days. With the men's and women's basketball coaches, and today was football. A lot of governance stuff, a lot of house case. Obviously CFP, as read about that, a lot of stuff going on with CFP. And, transfer portal. All the fun stuff that we've been talking about for the last 3 years, right?
What was your discussion when it came to the CFP and I know the commissioners talked about what he has in mind. I
think we're all aligned. We like the 5'11". Having been on the selection committee, we have a lot of really talented people that are on the selection committee. I was on there, and we had a lot of good coaches that are. Despite what people may think, I don't think there's as much brand loyalty. I think people try to pick the best teams. At least when I was on there with Frank Beamer, R.C. Slocum, and Ken Hatfield, and some of the coaches, and even some of the ADs that represented their conference. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to go in there as a football person, not a conference person. And I think there's a real opportunity. I do think it's fair. I think the one thing good about college basketball, well, one of many things great about college football, is every week matters in college football. Basketball, you could lose every game, but win your conference tournament and go to the NCAA tournament. College college football, every game matters, and I think having the ability to win your conference champion, get rewarded for winning your conference champion, having the best team in the group of 5 to also be able to participate in this playoff, and then have 11 at large is I think really fair, and I think it gives the Big Ten, the SEC, the opportunity to even get more teams in than what they're proposing from a automatic qualifier, multiple automatic qualifiers, and then it gives us an opportunity to get more teams in. And I've been doing this long enough where, I'm an old Big 8, Big 12 guy. From 1988 to about 2005, the Big 8, Big 12 had more national championships than the SEC did. You guys remember that? Nebraska, Colorado, Texas, Oklahoma, all won national championships. So this can be cyclical, and I think you will see stuff once we get past this craziness, and we've gone through that last 2 days. I hope everything's level set. We're back to evaluating, recruiting, teaching, and developing young people.
The obvious follow-up, though, what are your thoughts on the 4-4-2-2, whatever it is, possibility?
I'm not a fan of that at all.
Why not? I'm sure it's obvious.
Because you have playing games. Because I haven't looked at all the scenarios, so I'm just throwing this in. You could have a 7-5 Big Ten team playing in the playoff with the fourth AQ. I don't think that's right. Then you have playing games to get in, and so I just think you just do it like if you're going to have 11 at large, the selection committee can pick it. You reward the 4 conference championships, and then you have the group of 6, the best group of 6 team, and you play for national championship. I think it's the most fair way to do it. I really do. So I'm not a big fan of that.
Terry,
because I also think
No,
I also believe this. I also believe that the way that the construct of the CFP wasn't to give 1 or 2 conferences more value it was supposed to be to have the best way to conduct a real national championship. And I think the way that we're talking about a 5 plus 11 is the best way to do that. And it gets the best teams in.
Thank you.
So,
I was going to ask, you said earlier before about when it comes to the house settlement and rev share that UCF you guys were going to fund the full $20.5 million. Have you guys reached that?
We're real close.
Real close?
Yeah, we're real close. We'll be there.
Okay.
For sure, yeah. I just got a couple more things we're working on, some revenue pieces that we're putting together, but we'll be there come July 1.
FBC Mortgage.
We're very happy by that, by the way.
Okay.
Because, we become full share members, but we also have a lot more other expenses we have, so we're really happy about that. So,
Naming rights. FBC Mortgage is rebranding it.
Yeah.
Acrashore Mortgage beginning July 1st.
Yes.
Does that change the name of the stadium,
Yeah.
potentially, the naming rights
yes,
deal?
it does. It doesn't change the naming rights deal, but it does change the potential naming of the stadium. But we have a governance process we have to go through. So we're still trying to figure out if we have to get that approved by our board of trustees again, since they changed their name. If you might remember, on the stadium it said FBC Mortgage and Acrashore Company.
Yes.
Remember it says, so they had Acrashore, and you guys may not, it was underneath the sign outside the stadium and also on the field. So you could see it. And so we're proposing some ideas on the name, and we're running it by them. But yeah, I'm still learning about the governance process. We have a board meeting coming up in June, and hopefully we'll be ready for that. But they definitely have told us that they wanted to change their name.
How is the construction project going this summer?
Really good. It's really good. You can see, have you guys taken visits over to the construction site? Maybe, what we can do, Adam, is do some type of, in the next couple of weeks, just do a little tour. Maybe get some hard hats out there and we can show you guys a tour. I think it's going really well. It's going faster than I thought. I'm watching the parking lot go up and the gateway, and obviously I can see the concrete elevator shafts and the pillars going up, and so it's pretty cool. It's very exciting.
Do you have locked-in rates for building materials? Is that something that's part of that contract towards your budget?
Yeah.
So if there's fluctuation-
they call it a GMP, gross
Guaranteed maximum
guaranteed
price.
net maximum price. Sorry, thank you. Guaranteed maximum price, and we had that, so they have to stick to that.
So you're not worried about
a lot of
tariffs?
the steel's coming from Florida. That was one of the things I was worried about.
So it wasn't tariffs?
I was worried about some of the tariffs because some of those you get from overseas, but a lot of our steel, there's several steel plants in Florida and domestic, Arkansas, where I used to live, and so they're high producing steel companies, and I think that most of our products are being bought domestically.
So it's on schedule, on budget at this point?
Yeah. We're actually under right now. We're doing well.
Mr. Baker told us this morning about the getting more teams into the NCAA basketball tournament. Where do you stand on the 74-76?
Why not? A couple more. That'd be great. It gives more people opportunity. I'm fine with that. It's good. So I'm happy about it. We don't know a lot about it, except that there's a couple more that they'd like to add, and I think it's a good thing. It's exciting. The tournament's exciting, and why not expand it?
Terry, we just heard from Scott. He said, he's got 60 new players on the roster, guys who have not played for UCF before. What's your thoughts on that kind of roster turnover? Did you think you'd ever see something like that? And what kind of job has Scott done in amassing the talent that he was able to do in 5 months?
Oh, we're really proud of him. I mean, I had to check on him quite a bit during this transition when we hired him because he was out for a year. Even his last year at Nebraska, it wasn't quite like it was this past year, the transfer portal. And of course, when there's a coaching change, you can automatically get in. So you're allowed to move freely. And so he did a really good job. I think there's an opportunity too when you have a bunch of new players as well. You have a lot of people coming and go. They're coming here for a reason from all over the country, and so they have a common goal to be good. I think we have a real opportunity to make some noise next year. I really do. I know the coaches are working diligently. I think that the culture, obviously when you have one coach going to the next coach, it's just different dynamics, different coaches, different philosophies, different things. And I think it's really positive. And I'm pretty in tune. I talk to a lot of athletes and I ask them questions, and they seem to be very, very excited about this upcoming season. And they love the spring. They love what they saw. They loved the coaching staff. They loved how they were being coached, how they were being developed. Some of the kids that came in, one of the things I asked them, hey, why did you leave your school? And the interesting thing, one of them told me that I thought was really interesting. He says, well, this is very insightful. He said, in this new day of of NIL and transfer, the NIL, coaches are afraid to coach as hard. I thought that was interesting, and I felt like I could be pushed a little bit more. He's a pretty good player, and so I needed to find somebody I was going to get pushed, not based on what I was getting paid, but treat me as to help develop me. And I think that was the theme that I heard from our players, is being developed in a different manner than their previous school. So I think that was really cool. So I mean, I feel really good about it. I just think, do I think it's going to slow down? I really do, Jamie. I really think it's going to slow down. I just think that it was so opportunistic this past couple of years with the transfer portal and the NIL and the collectives. It was just a little bit of a mess. And I think this new House case will hopefully level set everything. Could we just, over the last 2 days, we've probably had 4 sessions just on the rules and the enforcement and what the punitive nature of if you break a rule, if you don't hit your cap. And so I'm very optimistic, probably more than I've ever been.
Terry,
well, in the last two years.
With this much roster turnover, what are your expectations for Scott Frost's first season?
I think you'll see better, just getting better. Our expectations, I want to see progress and get better. The league's still really good. The league didn't get any worse. Are you talking about like the record, or I'm just like
what your expectations are for the season?
To win every game. Is it likely?
Is there
Probably
something
not. But you know what? Yeah, expectation. You go into every game. You go into every game and you want to win the game.
Is there something instructive in Arizona State's rise last season that the Big 12 is wide
open
there?
I think you saw that they had a really good quarterback last year, and we saw their talent. They played really well as a team. You went to our game last year. Do you think their talent level was that much better than ours? Yeah, I think everybody would say no. But they were. I think they had one position that was cut above. And he's coming back, and I think that's a huge, and that's what Scott's working through. He's working through the quarterback and his offense. Defensively, I think we're a little ahead. I think we got a really good defensive coordinator. We've got a lot of good pieces that we've put in there. I think we'll have probably the best personnel defensively, collectively since I've been here. And then I watch more defense than I do the offense, and then I think we'll be all right.
Terry, you know how crazy transfer portal is.
Yeah.
Guys looking for their next school. Well, the basketball team lost Mustafa.
Yeah.
He's been linked with Coach Mamadou Njai for a long time, who was an assistant coach at UCF, and there was a lot of chatter, a lot of buzz in the college basketball community that perhaps Coach Mamadou was kind of shopping himself and Mustafa around to other schools, while obviously still employed at UCF. And then, we kind of see it happen. We see Mustafa transfers to Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. Coach Mamadou joins him a week later. What's your reaction to that? And did you contact the Big 12 with any concerns?
Well, this is not new in college athletics. Okay, you guys, you know the story. It's been well chronicled. All I can say is my interaction with Mustafa was always positive. Really liked the kid, and young man, I should say. Look, man, I wish him nothing but the best. And I can just leave it at that. But you guys all know this has been going on in college athletics for half a century.
But is that something you think? Not maybe specifically, but to go to the Big 12 and see if there's some sort of discussion about
There's nothing. What are you going to go to the Big 12 for? What are you going to tell them? And people are free to go where they want to go, right?
But should a coach it's one thing to have a runner or an agent or someone do the negotiating. It's another thing if it could have been a coach that was.
We have coaches that go from schools to schools in our own league. And so, I mean, I don't think it's, unless you can prove, something, then, you just wish them the best of luck and move on. And, we're really looking forward to playing them next year.
Well, speaking of that, I know they're going to come out with the home and homes, and I know they're going to do the 18 games scheduled down from 2 games to Cincinnati. Or do you know if they're going to be making a trip to UCF next season?
Oh, for basketball?
For basketball.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
But we're excited to play Cincinnati next year.
Just
like everybody else.
2 years.
We're excited to play, huh?
2 years through the Big 12. How do you assess men's and women's basketball performance in the Big 12 through 2 years?
Women's basketball needs to be get better. I do think that she probably of all of our sports, I will give her she was more decimated than any one of our teams when she got here. They took all of her players to Georgia and then all of our recruits. She literally had to go out and just go. It's over the first couple of years. So this is a big year for her. Men's basketball, I believe, is the best it's been since I've been here. And remember, we've only been to five NCAA tournaments in the history of this school. And when I got here in February 21, our basketball program is better now than we were in February 21. There's no doubt in my mind. And I wanted to, and I have looked myself in the mirror, and I said, we all have to, as administrators, have to look ourselves in the mirror and say, it's easy to just make changes. Or you look at yourself and say, hey, what happens if I actually help this person, help the coach get more resources, put a little more investment into it? I mean, I've been lucky. I've seen an elite basketball program. I've worked for a school that had an elite basketball program. So, and we got here, we knew we had some work to do on men's basketball. And I think you see, not only is it the best basketball conference in the country, you see that our basketball team is more competitive than it's ever been. And I think this is a big year for Johnny as well. And I'm excited that he's here. I think he's amassed a really good roster from everything I've seen. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited about it.
Do you feel the resources are there for men's basketball to be competitive with the rest of the Big 12?
It's a lot more than it's comparable. It's comparable. Is it the best? No. Is it the worst? No. I look at our state. I think we have the resources now to be highly competitive in the Big 12. I really do.
Kelvin Sampson said yesterday that it was important for he, as a head coach, to be in alignment with his athletic director. How would you describe your alignment with Johnny Dawkins?
We're aligned. Absolutely. I talk to Johnny a lot. And, personnel issues, coaching issues, who's hired, and, the ref share, scholarships, we talk. And I love basketball. Basketball is a huge part of our of this conference, and it's going to continue to get better. And I really believe that we need to resource as much as we can. And you can see, we had a huge, from the American to the Big 12, we had a huge jump in resources. And I think our first year in the Big 12 was pretty good.
What are your expectations for men's basketball this year? You talked about the roster.
I'd like to get to the NCAA tournament. That's my expectations. I'd like to be there. I'd like to be in the NCAA tournament.
Along those lines.
Yeah, I think it's time. I don't think it's time. I know it's time, right? And I think he's done a really good job from everything I see. Of course, we had we had a bad injury. One of our best players last year, Jalen Sellers, he's out. Remember, we beat Texas Tech. Jalen Sellers had, I think he shot like 45% or something. He had a good game, and then we lost him for the year. And so I think it's had a little bad luck, and I think he's also developed guys. Can't afford to keep them. They get picked apart, right? Lost one to the draft, the lottery pick. We lost 3 this year. One didn't even play the whole year, and we lost him for big money. And so, we're trying. I think resources are huge, and he's going to have more money ref share than he's ever had before. And we weren't on par as even then. We still were competitive in the Big 12. You saw us at the Crown. We did well. Fox was bragging about how well we showed up at the Crown. It was a serious tournament. He had teams that had their collective spin was double, triple to what ours were. We made it to the championship game, and we didn't have 2 of our players playing in it. So I think the future could be bright, and so I think Johnny would tell you his expectations going to the NCAA tournament as well. I think it's that simple.
Is there job security for Johnny though? I mean, he's going into his last year of a contract, and then he's got an additional a bonus year.
Why don't we just help him try to win as much as he possibly can? We evaluate it after the year. And you know what? Everything's year to year nowadays. You know, the old days when I was a young administrator, I said, well, you got to have 5 more years on your contracts because all the recruits. Everything's transactional year to year now. So we'll see.
Are you confident when the House settlement goes through? And I'm sure a lot of the stuff you talked about this week was the whole third-party NIL auditing. You talked about level setting everything. Are you confident that'll be the case once this House settlement goes forward?
I'm more optimistic. The more I go through these sessions, and we've been working on this House case for almost a year and a half. It's coming around. We get periodic updates. It's a living, breathing document. We thought everything was in place, and then there was some rejectors on walk-ons. It looks like the walk-ons are going to be grandfathered in, which I think is great. I think it's fantastic. I feel pretty confident. I mean, there's going to be a separate governance, the College Sports Commission, that's going to govern this. It's going to have its own CEO that will basically oversee the enforcement, and there'll be a chief investigator officer. And this is all the stuff that's going to be part of the settlement case. I really feel good about the enforcement of this. We're going to be required to sign an attestation, the president and myself, saying we're going to comply with the rules. And I feel really good that, I mean, listen, we need a level level playing field. I don't think anybody doesn't think that, right? They have it in most of the pro sports. Why wouldn't we want that? And then just see what happens. But I feel good. I really do. I'm very optimistic about it. Some may say that's naive. I don't think so. I think I've been in enough meetings where we're specific about, okay, what if this happens? Well, this could happen. And you could lose, you could lose postseason play. You could lose, there's a lot of punitive things that can happen. And I think that people are going to have to adhere to what's real NIL. What is that? What is real NIL? We found out recently in a meeting that of all with our new clearinghouse company, Deloitte, that 80% of the collegiate NIL contracts done with public companies were $10,000 or less. That's real NIL. Okay? So these $500,000 deals you're hearing, that's real NIL. It's not NIL. So there's rev share and there's NIL. So we happen to license over 150 of our athletes plus of licenses, so we can pay them rev share. And then they have the ability to go out and get their own name, image, and likeness approved by us with their license and with their social media following, whatever. And I think it's an additional opportunity. So I've always been a fan of that.
Yeah.
Always been a fan of that.
The Big 12 has an affiliation with WWE, and it was reported by Chris Vanini a little bit ago that they're going to bring WWE SmackDown to certain venues early in the season, and it's coming to Orlando the night before UCF North Carolina. Have you heard that, and what's your reaction to that?
Is that released out there? Is there something out there that's released?
Yeah, you just put something out.
Oh, you did?
Chris Vanini of The Athletic put it out there, so what do you think?
I think it's awesome. I think anytime you can collab with other entities, sports entities across the country, and it's so funny. You guys, Tremont Morris Brash, when we shook hands with the caretaker.
Undertaker.
What's it?
Undertaker.
Yeah, okay, Undertaker. Sorry, I can tell you how much I followed. But okay, the Undertaker. That was the most engaged social media tweet or whatever it was in the Big 12 that year. One handshake after he ran a 40 with the Undertaker. And so I thought that was pretty cool. So I think anytime you can collab with other entities, I think, when we saw what we did at Big Noon Kickoff last year, $3.6 billion in engagement. That's another example of who UCF is in the club. I mean, Fox people are all here. The compliments we get from Fox saying it's the best show they've ever had since they've been doing it.
Think it's coming back from North Carolina? Is there a chance of that?
I hope. There's a chance to get them. Yeah, they've got us and they got the Big Ten, so they want to come to more Big 12 venues.
2 seasons through the Big 12. What are you most proud of?
What sport?
Just
2 seasons.
in your tenure as athletic director.
I'd say there's progress. I'd say to be very candid, I think some of our Olympic sports, you can see what doesn't require to pay high levels of dollars. I think you see from the collectives, I think you see a lot of success, a lot of progress. I think some of the sports that require some other, the transfer portal and the payments from the collectives, I think you see little challenges. We're not where we need to be or we want to be, and I'll just tell you that I think that we have a real opportunity for upside as we go forward. And I've been disappointed. I was disappointed in our football season. Was I satisfied from our football season a year ago? No. We want to win every game. But did I think we'd take a step back, go 4-8 this year? No, I didn't. Basketball, I still think we're getting back. This league is really good in basketball. It's really, and I would say we're progressing. Not satisfied, not happy, but we're progressing. I think this next year is going to be a really good year.
What do you think about baseball tournament moving out to Arizona?
I'm okay with it. I mean, it was so expensive to play, and I can't remember the name. Yeah, you Globe Life. Yeah, the Rangers. It was so expensive. You worry about the rain, but supposedly it doesn't rain as much at this time of year out there. So it's a great venue. It's not going to cost a lot, and I think that there's a chance to make a lot of money. There's a lot of alumni to live out there. I think we have like 1,200 alumni to live out that way, and so I think it's okay. And I think there's a chance that they move it around.
Yeah. Do you think championships in Orlando? Is that something that you've talked about with Commissioner Yormark? Or
we looked at Tampa and we looked at Miami for baseball, but I think they got a really good deal that time of year because obviously MLB's, and so they're wanting to use the venue.
Any other sports though that UCF Orlando might be in line to host for the Big 12 championships?
Well, the rowing championships we hosted, not in Orlando, but over in Sarasota. Not really. We haven't really thought about that. I mean, basketball's not going to move for a while. Kansas City, Dallas is going to keep the football. You may have some soccer. Women's soccer might move around a little bit. But we're looking at going back to host sites. We tried to host it in Kansas City this past year, and it was kind of expensive. But overall, to go back to your question, we have a lot of work to do to get better. And I know we're not where we need to be. In some of our other sports, and some football, men's basketball, and baseball took a little turn. I think he learned some this year. I really do, and having coming out this first year, bringing in 17 new players in baseball, and I think six of our top hitters he brought in. And I think anytime you have challenges like he did this year, and those of you watched who all went to our baseball games this year. Went to our baseball games, you saw we never could put it together for whatever reason. Hey, when we were hitting great, we were pitching great. Hey, there. I think sometimes as a new coach and a young coach, going through a season like it will help make you stronger. So you'll have, and I think that's what's going to happen with him. I really do. I feel like he's the right coach. He's really good. He's really good.
I do rep share NIL resources stack up for a program like baseball.
We're going to be doing. I looked at that today. We did an anonymous survey in the Big 12. We're going to be good. I mean, there's some schools, in the SEC are paying, $800,000 plus their scholarships. We'll be at 25 scholarships plus Alston, and we'll be right there. We'll be right there in the middle for rev share. I feel really good. As a matter of fact, Rich feels really good about it. I mean, some schools will pay $1 million, but every dollar you take away, every dollar you pay another sport, you take away from football and basketball. So, but like I said, to answer your question earlier, I'm just throwing this. Arkansas, they're going to spend probably a little bit more because they're baseball and it's a huge revenue sport there. Probably Tennessee, some of those Vanderbilt, some of those maybe spend a little bit more.